F1 Fridays is officially back. I know it's been more than a month, but for good reason. I've been traveling, and more importantly, I went to my first ever actual F1 Grand Prix. That was the Miami GP weekend, and this is F1 Fridays episode 11. I am excited to get into it and share my experience first of all. Now, I didn't go on the Friday. Keep in mind, this was a sprint weekend. Friday was practice and sprint quali. I did not go the Friday. I went Saturday and Sunday. Saturday, I was at turn 1. And Sunday, I was at the start finish straight. Two very different experiences. I would say if you're more interested in the actual racing and possible overtaking, I think his turn 1 was the better experience for that aspect. I think what was very cool for the start finish straight was the starting procedure, seeing all the racers line up for the anthem. They had Tiesto play over the start finish lights, which was insane. Then actually seeing the cars line up before the formation lap, after the formation lap, and the start of the race. So it's two very different experiences. It was also very cool to see the pit stops in action at the start finish straight. So my recommendation, if you have to choose one, as I said, if you're looking for the more technical and nitty gritty, maybe start finish is cool, but for the racing action, turn 1 is obviously one of the better positions. Now keep in mind, this is not the cheapest race to go to. My tickets, I believe the Saturday one per person was around 300-ish, like 360. And then where I sat for the start finish was about $800 and something for the Sunday. Keep in mind that's per day, right? There are packages to buy for the entire weekend, but I did it separately, so you could look into that depending on which track you're going to and what experience you're looking for. Now, for the most part, I would say it was definitely worth it. Now, I am obviously an F1 fanatic. For the casual person, they may not think so, but I think the way they put together the event, now keep in mind this is a very big event. I've been to many events at the Hard Rock Stadium, but this by far was the biggest in terms of the overall square footage of what was going on. Obviously, what was nice is they had DJs playing music continuously, like top end DJs. They had Cascade. I was hearing when you walk in, blasting on the speakers, like playing live, and like Steve Aoki, Pitbull after the race, etc. So it was a continuous thing, and they also had many activation points. So they had like the pit stop challenge where you get to change your tire, etc. There were many brands that had like special edition stuff for sale. They had Legos being featured. They even had, one of the big things for me was special trading cards that you could only get at the race or race weekend. So all in all, there were a lot going on. Amazing food options. I think Miami is interesting in the fact that a lot of different people come to the event, not just race fans. So it's more of a pop culture event than racing weekend alone. So keep that in mind. And the merchandise was, the food for the most part wasn't too crazy expensive. The merchandise was very expensive. You could have gotten the same things online for like half the price, but obviously people in the spur of the moment, in the emotion, they will spend their money. So I would say all in all, it was a very positive and amazing experience for me. I was able to get some crazy pictures, which I enjoyed. Also see the whole process in action, see a little bit of the back end as well. And there are screens up, so you get to actually view the entire race as well while you sit there. Obviously on the start finish straight, they're just flying by. But I did get to see like the McLaren overtake on Verstappen, etc. on that start finish straight. Turn 1, a lot more action. But I think one of the next big things I wanted to mention that was, I would say, surprising for me is my livery rankings are all wrong. I think it's safe to say that when you see these cars in person, it's completely different from seeing it on TV or even seeing it when they're released. Seeing them in motion, like seeing them on the grid, very, very different. Liveries, like, well, obviously personally for me Red Bull, but I rank them very low. Seeing it in person, that blue, that design, iconic, and I would have put it a lot higher. Even the Mercedes livery, seeing it in person versus seeing it on the TV or seeing it when it was released, completely different. Alpine live up to the hype. I think it looked amazing both pre-season and seeing it on track. So little things like that were kind of eye-catching for me, and that RB, that pink livery, amazing. I wish they could keep it for the rest of the season. But that was my experience. All in all, I would definitely recommend it, and I would love to go to other races in the future for sure. It did not disappoint me at all. So my first impression is well done to the Miami GP. You'll be broke after, but it's quite worth it. Now, let's get into the source, Piastri's top form. Now, safe to say, while I was gone, not making videos, Piastri's been killing it with 3 race wins in a row. I don't know if Lando could keep up, not right now. Now, there have been a lot of speculation, Red Bull especially trying to push that McLaren is doing something a little bit dodgy with their red tire temperatures. They sent in all these imagery of the heat from the tires, etc., being cooler than others. But the FIA did look into it. Each race they do pull cars randomly to see if they meet the regulations. They did choose to pull Oscar Piastri's car, I think just because of all the speculation that was going on. And they did say everything was in compliance. There were a lot of rumors that they had heatsink changing material, etc. Stuff that changes its state at different temperatures to help with cooling, etc. But they did say it passed all the tests. I think people were just trying to throw McLaren off, obviously, and it didn't work. They seem to be on top form still, and they want to beat by a lot. Now, keep in mind, it took them a while to pass Verstappen. I do think if they step up their game on qualifying, they could possibly even lap the field in tracks like Miami. Coming up, Imola is a very different beast, but for the most part, the McLarens look way ahead still. So, scary form from Piastri. I think one of the important things for him is that he is very level-headed, and Lando gets a bit emotional. So I do think that affects him negatively, while Piastri just stays locked in. So let's wait to see how things move forward. And I will get into Doohan Benched. Now, all the rumors from the beginning of the season, even before the season started, was that Doohan would not last in that seat, and it came true. Now, Flavio is a bit of a character. For those who don't know, he is in charge of the Alpine team now, and he was banned in F1 previously. Do your research, and I'm gonna get in depth with that craziness. But a lot of people don't think he should even be involved in F1 currently. And yeah, he's the one at the helm for Alpine. So let's see if Alpine could move forward in a stable state, or if they're going to continue with their instability. They did say that Colapinto is technically guaranteed 5 races. Who knows what's going to happen after the 5 races, if they're going to swap back Doohan, or if Colapinto does well, he stays in. It's a very strange one. Alpine is a shaky team currently, and I think we have to wait to see what direction they go in. I hope they sort themselves out, because I think Gasly's talent is a bit wasted currently with all the insecurities and a pretty bad car. Now, we move on to Williams. And is Williams the real deal? Albon secured a 5th place finish in Miami, which was amazing. Now, it seems to be that Sainz is getting the hang of that car a little bit better. I do think going into the middle part of the season, we'll see a bit more consistency from him. I do think they are a force to be reckoned with. Albon and Sainz in that team together. And James Vowles, I would say, one of the best team principals in the paddock right now. He is obviously very hyped and he's very data driven, but we can definitely see the results and see the changes in that Williams team over the time. So I do think for now they are the real deal. Don't expect them to be fighting for first place anytime soon, but if they stay on this steady trajectory within the next few years, I don't see why not. Now they are technically a smaller team with smaller resources, but if they do put in good performances and win better prize money, who knows what could happen. They already have an amazing lineup. If they could give them a great car, I don't see why not. And I'm very excited about it because I think those two drivers deserve a good car and a good shot at possibly a championship. So let's wait and see. We head into fantasy. Now, I did use my limitless chip in Miami. I was kind of fed up of seeing myself like third, and I thought it was a good weekend because I was going to the race to put all my eggs in that race. I was like, why not? It did turn out that I gained a good points advantage to leap up the table, currently in first, but only by like 46 points. However, I also safeguarded myself from those DNFs. I actually had Alonso and Gasly on my team, so that would have been a lot of negative points I was taking. I got lucky there. Now they are back in my team currently because after you use Limitless, your team resets to what you had before. So I do have to sub them out because keep in mind, budget building, those drivers who had DNFs in that last race, you probably want to get out of your team. Now, Imola is a very popular track to use Limitless because it tends to be that what you see in practice is what's going to happen in the race. It's a very high speed track and a lot of people may use this weekend to use their Limitless chip. I, however, will always recommend using it on a sprint weekend because there's more points at hand. So feel free, use your chip if you have it. Keep in mind, wildcard is always there if you need to shuffle your team and you haven't used it before, because I know a lot of teams right now are losing big budgets. But we have Project Patois racing in first currently. We have Dan Stappen in second. We have Sando, Christoph in third. We have Kosi in fourth. I feel I need to use our chip and climb up that ladder a little bit. And Adam currently in fifth. So this is our top 10 rankings for now. And I would like to say we should be back to our regularly scheduled programming. I'm back in my base, as you could tell, able to make my videos again. Now keep in mind as well, Ferrari is usually very competitive at home. I know I didn't really mention them in this episode, but they have been struggling a lot, especially Lewis. I don't think they have a particularly fast car, but you never know if they have a special wing or special setup for this home race. They tend to put a lot of focus on their home race. So thank you very much for tuning in. Again, this was episode 11. Sorry, I had a little break, but life.